The central idea for understanding the nature of the universe's birth and development is that of omnicentricity. The large-scale structure of the universe is more complex either than the Earth-centered picture of the medieval cultures or the fixed, three-dimensional Newtonian universe of modern culture. For we have discovered we are in a universe that is expanding and is centered upon itself at each place of its expansion. In this universe of ours, to be in existence is to be at the center of the cosmic expansion. I need to emphasize the fact of omnicentricity here. If there are intelligent and curious beings in the Hercules cluster of galaxies 700 million light years away from us, and such creatures are pondering the universe from that perspective, they will also discover that the galaxies in the universe are moving away from them. They will thus conclude, on the basis of this evidence, that they are at the center of the universe's expansion, and they will be correct. We might conclude from this that there is no special place in the universe, or we might conclude that every place is equally special, for every place is that very place that gave birth to the world. In our struggle to understand, we sometimes wish the universe were not so complex. But the universe will be what it will be regardless whether we humans accept it for what it is or not. But as before, if we can begin to see the universe from its own perspective of omnicentricity, we can begin to inhabit the universe as it is. There's one image in the scientific literature that can give us some assistance in understanding an omnicentric universe. So imagine you're inside a loaf of raisin bread as it is being baked. We need to focus our imaginations on being in the very midst of the raisin bread. Forget about questions of the crust or the oven. For us, there's only the bread, and we're inside of it. In particular, imagine yourself on a raisin and just look around. All the other raisins are moving away from you as the bread bakes. So that in terms of the bread's expansion, you find yourself at the very center. And anyone else on any other raisin throughout the loaf would come to a similar conclusion. Hence, we have in the raisin loaf a model for an omnicentric reality. But there's more. Suppose you now try to determine whether or not you and your raisin are moving with respect to the bread itself. What you will find, of course, is that you're frozen in place, for your raisin sits stationary with respect to the surrounding bread. And when you think about it a bit, you realize that the very reason the raisins are moving away from you is because of the expansion of the bread. You and your raisin are not moving. It's the space in between the raisins that is growing larger. And that precisely is how we understand the cosmic expansion. Not as a movement of galaxies through an already fixed Newtonian space like an empty box. It's much more interesting. The cause of the expansion of the universe is the space that rushes into existence between the clusters of galaxies. This space that is rushing into existence results in the clusters rushing apart from each other. The actual size of each galaxy stays the same. It's the space in between that expands in each instant, which results in an ever larger universe. In terms of the large-scale expansion of the universe, we're basically stationary. We are at the stable and unmoving center of the expansion. For to be in this universe is to be at its center.